Okay, I'm gonna start talking because the way these Facebook Lives work on Zoom, like it shows like it's loading, but when I'm watching my videos, it's just me sitting around waiting for this to come up. So I'm just gonna start talking and assume that it's going right now. Okay, cool. What's going on, guys? Mike Collier with Midlife Fitness. If you don't know me, I help midlife men and women lose weight, build muscle, improve energy, and develop healthy habits that lead to lifelong change. And I like to do these every week, either lives, which I just started doing again, or do videos that I post every week on Thursdays. That way, I can provide you guys with some value, hopefully answer some questions that you might have, or just because I like to talk about health and fitness and try to help people. So here I am today. It's about 8 o'clock on Thursday. I'll post this on my timeline. If you want to check out the replay or have any questions, just post them in the comments. I don't really have anything scripted. What I kind of just wanted to talk about, and I'll usually do like Q&As. So I'll kind of open it up for questions. We'll see if anybody pops in here just to say hello. I kind of announced this at the last minute, so I didn't give a lot of notice. So no worries. But if you watch the replay, let me know you watch the replay. If you've got a question, just post in the comments, or if you don't want to post in the comments, DM me and I'll answer your question and hopefully help you out. So kind of what I wanted to talk about is something that has come up in the last couple of days, and it's a super common thing that a lot of people struggle with, including me. I dealt with the same thing, and that is getting started on your health and fitness journey, or in a lot of cases, getting restarted. So how many of us have gotten to a place in their life where they just don't feel good about themselves, either the way they look, the way they feel, just don't feel confident in their own skin, and you decide, well, I need to make a change, right? You think you've hit rock bottom, you want to make some changes, and you're committed now. So you've got a goal, that's great. Hopefully you've got clarity on it and it's specific, and that's a whole other training topic, which I'll talk about one of these days. I have talked about it, I'll talk about it again because it bears repeating. But you've decided to make a change, which is the first step. And now you got to go about making that change. So what most people do is they will change everything. They take that passion that they have to make that change, to make that improvement in their life, and they run with it, man. They are going to change. They're going to eat clean, whatever that means. They're going to start training 7 days a week. They're going to stop drinking. They're going to do all the things. So they start doing it, and like I said, I've done it before too. So I know how that roller coaster feels. So they do all the things, and you last like 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe sometimes 6 to 8 weeks if you're doing really well, and then you just kind of fall off. All right. So the reason for that is because you kind of went about it wrong. So that's kind of the wrong way to do it. Some people can have success with that. They really can. And they see those quick results, and they get motivated by that, and they can, continue that. Some people can do that. And if you can, good for you. That's awesome. The majority of people, myself included, and a lot of people that I work with, like that approach doesn't work. It doesn't work for long-term weight loss, long-term success, and to keep that weight off. Because you'll see those people that do whatever that fad diet is, or that program, or take that pill or whatever, lose a bunch of weight pretty quickly, and then you check in with them a year later and they're right back to where they were before. Okay, so those kinds of things, along with all the making the huge changes all at once and doing the workout program, cleaning up the diet, like all that stuff, getting better sleep, all that. The problem is that you do too much too soon. Okay, so you got to realize, like, this thing, if you want just quick results that you're not really going to keep, then that's fine. But if you want long-term results, you've got to realize that your health and fitness journey, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. It's a daily thing, and this thing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. That's the way that's supposed to be. So get used to the process, enjoy the process. Don't be so fixated on that end product. Be in love with the process, because that's part of the journey, and that's what makes that finish line, that end product, like that much sweeter, because you like the struggles and the obstacles that you've overcome, and it's made you a stronger person, more resilient, and able to create those habits that are going to keep you progressing and have that long-term success into the future. So when people make those huge changes, so a couple things happen. One, they either go all out, okay, so they've gone from not working out at all to working out 6 days a week, right? So usually what happens is you're going to get injured. Okay, you overdo it. Think about, like I said, I am guilty of this. I've done this many times. Think of those times that you start training, and for that first week, like, you can't even move. I mean, you can't walk up and down the stairs. You can't sit down. You can't lift your arms because you've just spent like 2 hours in the gym on your first day and just way overdid it. So if you think about that, like, that's counterproductive. If you are injured for one, or if you're too sore to move, then you're laid up for the next few days while your body heals up. So you're leaving all that training time on the table. All right. So that's your first mistake. You want to ease into it. Okay. You got to realize and take into account like how long it took you to get to where you are. You can't expect, and I get it, we all want that instant gratification, but you can't expect to reverse years, decades, whatever it is, of a lifestyle in 3-4 weeks. It just doesn't work like that. It's not supposed to work like that. Okay. And if it does, then usually you're going to lose those results just as fast. Okay. So you want to make small changes. You want to make small incremental changes, because the other thing, when you make those huge changes like that all at once, and you're changing your diet, you're changing your sleep routine, you're changing your workout routine, that's hard to maintain. Usually with diet, you're going to be super restrictive. Okay. Or you're just so busy, like trying to do all the other things, that you're just not going to be able to maintain that. And I get it. People get into that because a lot of times what I find people do, and I've done this myself, like I said, I'm guilty of all these things. I did all this stuff, is that you compare yourself to the time when you were in your teens, your 20s, like whatever it was, when you had 2 hours a day to go to the gym. Okay. So then when you think to yourself, okay, I got to get back in shape, you just revert back to what you did before. Well, you have to realize that you're not the same person as you were before. Maybe you're 20, 30 years older now, and you don't have 2 hours to spend a day in the gym, nor should you. Even back then, that's too long. But now you've got a family. Now you've got a career. Now you've got all the other things that come up in your life that need your attention. Okay. So it's really not fair, and it's not serving you to compare yourself or do the same things that you were back then, because they're not going to be successful. You're going to be discouraged, and then you're going to fall off. So what you've got to find is a way that you can make small, like, incremental changes, and instead of going from working out 0 days a week to working out 6 days a week, maybe you start training 2 days a week, okay, or 3 days a week. And then once you develop a habit and you're successful at doing that, then start building on that. Okay. Same thing with your diet. Instead of just saying, that's it, I'm not eating pizza and candy ever again, which is, doesn't work for most people. Because as soon as I say that, like, you can't eat pizza and candy, what's the only thing that you're going to think about now? Pizza and candy for the whole, until you have that thing. And then when you do have that thing, you're going to overindulge. So restrictive diets just don't work. They just don't. And, studies are showing time and time again, they just don't. I don't do them. So, but people are overly restrictive. So instead of going into an overly restrictive diet, just to make a small change, okay, and instead just trade out, French fries for broccoli, in a couple meals. All right. Eat a high protein breakfast a couple of days a week. Little changes like that. You don't need to change your whole diet all in 1 week. It's just not going to stick. All right. It's got to be something that you can do consistently and that you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, if you're suffering through it, then chances are you're not going to do it consistently. If you don't do it consistently, you're not going to create a habit around it, and you're just not going to have success in the long term. Okay. So I think that's about it. So to sum up, I really didn't have anything scripted, so I'm kind of all over the place. I apologize. But like I said, don't try to change everything at once. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, you're not in a huge hurry. We're talking the rest of your life here, where you can progress and make improvements and live your best life and have a quality of life. So it's not a huge rush, right? So make small changes. Don't jump into it. Don't get injured. Okay, start off slow. Realize that you might not have trained in years, decades, months, whatever it is. You don't want to just jump into a super heavy program. Okay, so start off slow so that you don't get injured. And that you can maintain and you can build on those successes. So that's all I had. Kind of short and sweet, kind of a little scattered, but that's kind of how I am tonight. So anyways, I put some stuff in the notes or in the description of this video. If you have questions or want to just talk about, like, you know, need help like setting goals or anything like that, I put a link to my calendar in there. Just book a call with me. It's free, no obligation. I'm happy to help, try to talk and answer any questions that you have, or help you come up with some solutions to some obstacles that you might be running into. But if you want to talk about getting some real results and maybe having me as your coach to do a personalized program built just for you, then I also put a link to a training application in there. Take 2 minutes, fill it out, and I'll reach out to you and we'll see if we'd be a good fit. So other than that, have a great Thursday. Let me know if you need anything. Just leave a question in the comments or DM me. I'm happy to help. Have a great night and stay healthy.